Patch notes? Mom! Mom! Patch notes!
This is OPNN.
Good morning, everybody. My name is OnePegMG, and this is the news. So in today's news, as I woke up this morning, we have patch notes. At least preliminary ones, anyway. Now, as always, these are subject to change, but for the time being, it might be a good idea to read through them and see exactly what we're getting into. And I'll try and provide as much insight and media to go along with these bullet points as I possibly can. But anyway, on to the notes. On Reddit, the forums, etc., Nikita writes, "Hello, everybody. Preliminary patch notes for 0.12 patch. There will be a full wipe. Added. The project is transferred to the Unity engine version 2018.4. Thank God. Redesigned, optimized, and added new third-person animations." Now, this part is huge. The reason why is because of the following. The reason why third-person animations matter is because of a thing referred to as actors. In the game of Tarkov, there are three primary actors. There are the non-player characters that you observe moving around. There is the first-person actor, which is you observing your own arms and legs inside of the game. And there is also the third-person actor, which is another player moving through the environment that you as a player are observing. When it comes to, say, another player looking at you, and you reload, that animation right now in 11.7 is what is known as 1-to-1, meaning that for every frame of movement that I make, or of my character makes in the game that I observe from my perspective, a third-person onlooker observes that same animation frame by frame, exactly the same as I am creating it. Now, the reason why that's an issue is because it is taxing. Player animations, especially, end up being something that is taxing both on the server and on other clients, and it's relatively unnecessary. So, as one of the optimizing features in games like PUBG and Fortnite and other shooting games that we have seen, Counter-Strike, is those reload animations become much more simplistic. Rather than seeing, a mag be pulled out and stowed away in a rig and another mag produced and put in, instead is a much more simplistic motion of just arms kind of doing that quick motion over that same period of time and not having to render all of that additional stuff. So it cuts down on overhead. And obviously all of this ties back to frame rate. So optimizations like this should be able to feed back to increasing frames. New game feature, Hideout. The big feature that includes building and upgrading of various zones in the Hideout, each with its bonuses. Ability to produce different items. Improving the basic stats of the character, off-raid treatment rate, acceleration of skills leveling, etc. And the ability to increase the size of your stash if you do not have the EOD version of the game with the maximum stash size. So this is pretty interesting. So being able to upgrade your hideout over time is pretty important. There's going to be the implementation of a crafting system and improving baseline stats. So we're going to have the ability to increase our stats outside of a raid. I don't know if there's going to be a weight room or a treadmill or something, but I guess we're going to be able to passively increase our stats inside of the hideout, which is kind of cool. And one thing that we really weren't sure about that we were going to see or maybe not see was this ability to increase the stash size. And as it turns out, we will be able to increase the stash size. So for all of us that have EOD, we've already got the maximum stash. It is what it is. But for the rest of the playing base, the ability to increase the stash size has been something that has been teased forever, and now it's finally being implemented. So that's actually very, very cool. New functionality, off-raid treatment. I'm assuming this means out of raid treatment, but now the character regains health status after the raid. So health regeneration outside of the raid. Health, energy, and hydration now regenerate when out of a raid. You can use food, water, and first aid kits to instantly restore the character's condition when out of raid. After death, character's health is restored to 30% and begins to regenerate at a rate determined by the various improvements in the hideout. So it appears that once we die, the penalty for everyone upon death right now is the same. But upon death, depending on how built up your hideout is, that regeneration rate is going to be faster or slower. That will be interesting, especially considering this whole like hatchet / pistol runner stuff. New functionality, weapon presets. Ability to create weapon presets from any parts that are known to your character. Ability to quickly find and purchase missing parts for assembly of the custom preset. This is another feature that we've desperately wanted BSG to give us, and now it's finally being implemented. So good quality of life change there. New location, Ross Reserve Military Base. So the mill base, which we knew was coming. The largest map in terms of exploration area. New exfiltration mechanics. Stationary 12.7mm heavy machine gun NSV. Stationary 30mm automatic grenade launcher AGS-30 with PAG-17 sight. New constraints on the locations. Snipers and minefields. Oof. Unique loot and the scav boss Glukar with his special tactics. And we knew Glukar was coming. Trader service. Tactical clothing. Available from Ragman. 5 unique sets of lower and upper clothing for USEC and Bear. Will be available under different conditions. The level of the character, loyalty level with Ragman, and money price. Interesting. So the clothes will be more expensive. New trader, Jaeger. He will be locked at the start of the game, and you will have to complete a quest to unlock him. He will have his own branch of quests. His range of products will have a large number of unique items. He will also have a minimum margin on the goods price. So minimum margin is a little bit interesting. And for those of you that aren't as accustomed to market stuff as other people, margin just means how much more profit am I making? Or if I sell something to the trader, how much are they going to try and discount what it is that I'm selling to them? So in the case of Jaeger, it sounds like whatever it is that he's going to be buying or selling is going to have either a minimum markup or a minimal discount, and might end up being the most lucrative trader for what it is that he's buying above that of Therapist, who seemed like she had better margins for just about everything. I will be sure to calculate out exactly what these margins are once I am able to get my hands on the stuff. But until then, you know, we'll just have to see what it looks like. New boss, Glukar. Sugar. His area of action is located on military base, obviously. He believes this territory is his property and will protect it by taking defensive positions in one of many fortified locations. He has a 6-man team. Each member has his own role. Guards are always close to the boss. Stormtroopers can move forward to attack the enemy at another point. The head watch are the first to notice the enemy and impose a fight on them. So he's going to have lookouts, he's going to have people that tend to push, and he's going to have his own personal guard. Probably 2, 2, and 2, I would assume. The boss and his team strive not to leave the protected positions. They will attack from windows and other fortified places. They use advanced tactics of fighting indoors and have a special model of behavior on more open terrain. They can use stationary weapons. They may attack or retreat to protect the boss and hold their ground. As the train approaches, the boss and his team will try to occupy the landing platform. Now, we've seen the train before on overheads and other teasers. It's very interesting to see that he would try to occupy that train exfil area. They use all available weapons, often wear heavy body armor and helmets. So in this case, it looks like they're all going to have high caliber, high-end weapons and should be very, very lucrative to loot. New boss, Sturman. He operates in the area of Sawmill on Woods. He has a common funded stash with the valuables. He has a common funded stash with valuables. He usually keeps the key to himself. So this looks like the stash is going to be locked, but Sturman will have the key. He prefers covert tactics, tries to attack from a distance, from cover, outplays the opponents by taking a better environment. So I'm guessing this is just better positioning. Lets players get closer into the distance of effective fire. So he will wait for players to get close enough to him, and then he's going to take his shot. He has a team of 2 guards. The boss and his guards use long-range weapons. That was tough to get through. Added over 160 weapon parts and modules. An assortment of new 12 and 20 caliber shotgun cartridges, which I made a video on if you guys want to check that out. Assortment of new cartridges, 5.7 by 28. Again, made an entire video on the history of the 5.7. If you guys want to check that out, please feel free. New equipment. New mechanics of treatment of blackened body parts with surgical kits. Now, the surgical kit is something that we've obviously seen, and it will completely change the meta of the game. Looks like it's going to take about 25 seconds to unblacken a limb. I'm guessing it's going to be minimally healed at that point, maybe like 1 point. but it will be very cool to see people trying to fix their limbs inside of a raid. Thermal imaging device T7. New barter items. New consumable items type, alcohol. So we'll be able to drink booze. New fracture sound effects. Oh, that's going to be interesting. New weapons, Ash 12, FNP90, M9A3, FN57, TX15, and the MP5 Kurs. New quests for old traders and reworked some old ones. Now for graphical stuff, new TAA, temporal anti-aliasing, full screen anti-aliasing post effect. New HBAO shading. Terrain now casts shadows and has self-shadowing. Texture streaming option to reduce RAM consumption. New grass with a long-distance rendering and grass shadows option. New explosion effects. That sounds cool. Added variable animations of first aid kit treatment. So these animations will be different from time to time that you use them. Added auto sorting of goods by groups in the merchants menu. Thank God. Added transfer all button for items on transfer screen. Added context menu for first aid kits, cure all when out of raid. Oh, that one's good. I like that one. So one of the things that people were asking for when they were in raid was if you had, say, a partial med kit and you wanted to be able to combine med kits, that wasn't really an option. The other thing that they wanted to be able to do was if you had a grizzly kit, let's say, and you had 4 areas of your body that needed to be healed, if you just started healing yourself, would it just carry on and continue healing all of your limbs up until the animation was over? And the answer to that was kind of like, no. But instead, what they did is inside of the hideout, if you're going to use a med kit to heal yourself, you can select this cure all option and it will just use up however much of each med kit it needs in order to be able to heal you. So that's kind of cool. Added the context menu for weapons disassemble. Oh, nice. So you'll be able to disassemble weapons down to their base parts from one button press. I like that too. Added presets button to bottom panel for quick transition to presets mode. Added autofill items checkbox when selecting merchant offers. I like that too. Added stimulant properties to some of food and beverages. So I guess like if you're going to crack a Red Bull inside of the game, you're going to drink an energy drink or something like that, it's going to have like, you know, that caffeine rush. Added display of health status before raid on the character selection screen. Added new sounds for different surfaces when crawling. So now when you crawl on different surfaces, it's not all going to sound like somebody's just tearing off, you know, a huge sheet of Velcro. I like that too. Optimization of rendering and display of grass. Optimization of animation system, which we already talked about. Optimized spawn of loot items on location. Optimized icon generation. Optimize the ambient occlusion effect. Well, that's nice. Optimization of volumetric light. Added use only physical CPU cores option. So a few months back, there was a Reddit thread that had to deal with Tarkov's interaction with CPUs that contained virtual cores, commonly referred to as hyperthreading in the case of Intel. The basic idea being that hyperthreading and Tarkov did not play nice together. And there were scripts that had been generated to disable hyperthreading when Tarkov was played. And it seemed like there was some vast improvement kind of across the board for everyone. And it looks like the devs in this case are actually confirming that. So for those of you that have hyperthreading or virtual cores on your CPU, it might not be a bad idea to try that checkbox and see if it works for you. Various optimizations on the load of the CPU. Added optimized contact SSAO effect algorithm. Some optimizations of optical sights. Additional optimization of the locations. Optimized physics in offline mode. Optimized ragdoll. Optimized physics of thrown loot and grenades. Fixed a large number of causes of freezes and stuttering related to rendering, physics, animation, inventory, combat logic, etc. Now, I want to be completely clear. They have not said that the stuttering is gone. In fact, they said that they were going to try to eliminate almost all of it, but we know that there's still going to be stuttering, okay? Like, we just know it's going to happen. There's still going to be stutters. There's no getting around it. Just saddle up on that one and realize you're still going to have hitches. I guarantee you, when there's a big spawn or when you get close to people, you're going to end up seeing that stutter happen. Bot improvements and fixes. Improve the AI behavior when out of combat. Bots rotate their heads to increase their field of view. Bots can greet each other, show gestures, and transmit information. That's interesting. So they're going to be like, hey, there's a guy over there. At the request of the player scav, meaning you as a player, AI, in case of negative reaction, will respond to him negatively or show a gesture. So if you flip off a scav, they could start shooting at you or they might flip you off in return. Bots can come close to loot containers. Ooh. Beware, little hatchling. Beware. At the points of idle, bots look around and crouch. Improved AI combat behavior. Improved grenade throwing algorithm. Oh, maybe this means that they won't all be NFL quarterbacks and hit their target every time. One can only hope. Improved algorithm for calculating the rotation to the target at different distances. Improved algorithm for calculating the rotation to the target at different distances. I wonder if that's like target acquisition. Like, depending on how far away you are, they may or may not see you, and as you get closer, it's a higher percentage chance. I'm not really sure with that. Fixed a number of bugs when bots did not react to taking shots from a long distance or when using a silencer. So that's important. One of the things that I've personally noticed, and many others have, on woods and maps like woods where there's long distance involved, if you're using a suppressed high-powered rifle, sniper rifle, and you're sniping at scavs from a very long distance, at one time they could have been walking on patrol, and as soon as they're hit, they just kind of stop moving and sit there and end up being easy targets. So it should be a lot more realistic, at least, for them getting hit to be able to go and find cover. Fixed some bugs in shooting through some fences, bushes, and trees. Thank God. Fixed a bug of selecting an incorrect target when the bot ignored the nearest threat. Fixed a number of bugs with bots getting stuck. Fixed a bug where the bot could not aim if you crouch close to them. Fixed a bug where bots shouted threatening voice line phrases to player scavs. Fixed a number of bugs on interaction with doors. Fixed a bug in which it was possible to install the PSO and thermal sight, and the PSO lens worked as a thermal sight. Yeah, that was a big one. The bug with disappearing weapons when you move the object in the stash after folding a stock. The items didn't disappear from the stash if you click put goods on the flea market during the sending of the previous Q commands. I never saw that one, but... Fixed a bug that stacked up the effects of painkillers. A bug when upon killing your own character, you could see a PMC kill on the kill list. Fixed a bug which happened when you turned your head and hits in the head could be counted incorrectly. Oh, that's weird. Fixed a visual bug displaying glasses lenses visible through fog, smoke, etc. Thank God for that. Fixed cropping of merchants assortment if there are too many goods. Also another good one. Fixed error spamming bug when throwing smoke grenades. Fixed various bugs on locations and culling issues. That's good too. For those of you unaware, when we talk about culling, that refers to the game rendering objects or not, depending on how far away you are. So in the case of something like trees, boulders, cars, stuff like that, when you're looking at those objects from a distance, it may not look like it's actually there. Sometimes when you zoom in with a scope, it will show up, and sometimes not. So at a distance, if it looks like you have an enemy just kind of crouching out in the middle of nowhere, you would see this on woods, especially now in 11.7, and you took aim and fired at them, one of two things would happen. Either the bullet would hit the object instead of hitting the player, leaving you going, why the heck are they not getting hurt? Or the other thing that would happen, potentially, in very rare circumstance, is the bullet would travel through the object and hit your target, killing them or injuring them as if the object never existed. So it seems like a lot of the culling issues, at least in this case, are being fixed, and that's pretty nice. Fixed background sounds of locations when loading, fixed various interface issues and bugs, fixed some bugs leading to incorrect post-raid statistics, network fixes and improvements related to transition of Unity 2018. So network fixes and improvements will be interesting. So maybe the netcode will be getting a little bit better. So here's some, and then we go into the changes, and the changes are pretty major. Now, all body armor cannot be worn with plate carriers. So no more stacking Gen 4s and TV-110 rigs. You can no longer put certain containers, weapons, rigs, and backpacks inside of secure containers. So I'm thinking that this is very, very similar to what the Kappa container is doing already. And I like this, because it creates a nice little happy medium. So no more like pocket thermals, pocket MP7s, cheeky breeky MP5s, you know, things like that where you can pretend to be a hatchling and then not. But it still allows you to be able to put treasure, quest items, keys, a wallet, a docs case, you know, money, stuff like that will still be able to go in there. Possibly even like an ammo box will still be able to go in there, and you'll be able to utilize that. But what you won't be able to do is throw in a mag box and do like the magazine swapping and stuff like that anymore, which I thought was a little bit too overpowered and a little bit too cheeky for what it is that we're trying to do. I kind of like this. This is a nice happy medium. Now some keys have a number of uses. As soon as the key resource ends, it is removed from the inventory. So this is something that I have historically had a problem with, and this is why. We originally saw a screenshot that showed the marked room key, and this marked room key had a durability of 5. Now, Nikita, after posting this picture, after a couple of hours of watching the player base completely lose its mind, said, now it's only the marked room key, and the durability will be higher than 5. Now, it looks like it's not just the marked room key. It looks like it's more than just the marked room key, and the durability of which has been completely undisclosed. Unless the loot is absolutely ridiculous, no one will want those keys. They're not even going to bother with them. But if the spawn rates of them are pretty high, then maybe you can find a balance. It's just going to be one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. In the trader's menu, when redeeming items, they are marked as out of stock. For locations, customs, and shoreline, fixed position and trajectory of the sun. Now you can completely delete the conversations in your chat. Added the option to fold stocks when transferring items from the scav to your player's inventory. Rebalanced 9x18. Interesting. Rebalanced some of the stocks, magazines, and other weapon parts. Updated equipment pool that bots and player scavs can have. Nice. Changed cell configuration for BlackRock and AVS vests. Now the AVS has armor plates. Added drop down with filters, all offers, only from traders, only from players. For flea market, nice. When you receive an item by mail, same items are now combined into stacks. I like it. Weapons on locations now spawn with small number of ammo in a magazine. Nice. Modified occlusion system for sound on locations. Okay, sound improvements. Improve the recoil system and the impact of skill on recoil. Recoil system improvements. Oh. Reduced bonus to the running sprinting speed from the strength skill. Again, we're getting slowed down even more. The sound of movement while prone is now more quiet. Reworked and changed loot tables of containers. Redesigned and added new loot points on locations. The variety of goods of all traders was reworked. Okay. Changed lighting in item inspector window. Improved font readability. Overall quality changes were made to the spawn system. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Maybe we finally will see the end of the late spawn. Remove the option to set the priority lot at the flea market. So no more priority listings. No more gold priority listings. Good. Increased chance of fracture and damage when falling from a big height. And other minor QOL changes. We all, and personally I guess meaning Nikita, want to say sorry for the delay. Amount of changes is huge, and right now we are fighting with bugs. Every single time we approve a patch release date, some critical bug happens, and we are forced to shift the date and fix it because we don't want you guys to experience what needs to be fixed and polished, even though we know that there's still going to be that. Give us a little more time. I don't want to say it will be super soon, soonish soon to scare away luck.
So it will be not so soon, but soon soon. Not soon soon, but soon soon, pretty soon soon.
So again, we have the soon meme. Well, guys, that's the patch notes. Hopefully you guys found this to be relatively informative. If you did, like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Pretend I just said all that BS. And I will see you on stream, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.
This is OPNN.